So what do we know at this time about this? We know a 15-year-old student killed 2 people, injured 6 others, took her own life. The shooting occurred at the Abundant Life Christian School at around 11 a.m. yesterday. We're learning a little bit more information about the shooter and a little bit more about the victims, which I will get into. But I want to start by playing Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes talking about who this shooter was.
3 people, including the shooter, are dead. The shooter has now been identified as 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, who went by the name Samantha. She was a student at the school, and evidence suggests she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The official cause of death will be released by the Dane County Medical Examiner pending the conclusion of their examination. She was pronounced deceased while in transport to a local hospital.
Obviously, this is just a horrible, heinous crime, and this was a very, very troubled young teenager. And when you look at some of her social media posts, the things she said, she idolized the Columbine shooters and other school shooters. A very depressed and very troubled individual. Now, we're going to need to learn how she got her hands on this weapon. My understanding is that her parents are fully cooperating, which is a good thing. So I'm not going to pass judgment on any family members, at least not yet, until we learn more information. This was a very, very troubled teenager who took 2 innocent lives and shot a half a dozen others. It's awful. So as far as the deaths or injuries, I want to let Madison Police Chief Barnes explain that.
A teacher and a teenage student were pronounced dead at the scene at that school. 6 other students and a teacher were injured and taken to area hospitals. 2 students remain in critical condition and have life-threatening injuries. A teacher and 3 students were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. 2 of these have been released and discharged from the hospital. The other 2 survivors are considered to be in stable condition.
Let's continue to hope that everybody makes through this okay. I know that there are a couple people that are still in critical condition. There have been over 300 shootings on school properties in this country just this year. Think about that for a second. Over 300. The ones that get publicized the most are ones like these where there's loss of life, and I wish that wasn't the case. But I'm not even going to name the radio host, and forgive me, I was in my car yesterday flipping through the channels, and one conservative radio host who is just an absolute nitwit with 6 listeners, I think I was the 6th, did 10 minutes on this shooting and discussed how billionaires and Donald Trump's billionaires could help this problem by pushing money into something. Nothing about gun control, nothing about mental illness. I mean, these MAGA Republicans have no solutions to literally anything, especially gun control. Now, listen. I blame both parties for a lot of issues in this country, not this one. Yes, you could make the argument that our laws need to be stronger on the books. Can't blame Democrats for that one. I want you to imagine if you have a 6th grader at home or somebody around that age, and you drop them off at school, not knowing whether you're going to be able to pick them up or not. This is a 6th grader, a 12-year-old boy who had to witness what took place yesterday in his school firsthand. Listen to this 6th grader talk to the media.
Did you hear gunshots?
Yeah, I heard.
Tell me what happened.
We heard them, and then some people started crying, and then we just waited till the police came, and then they escorted us out to the church.
How many gunshots did you hear?
I heard 2.
And what were you thinking? What are you thinking
I
now?
was scared. Why did they do that? Why?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw your mom for the first time this afternoon?
I was happy and felt safe.
It's sad, to be home and then somebody call you and say your kids school in like down and shooting and you didn't know where they are. And thank God they were safe.
Now, that very smart and well-spoken sixth grader, because I give him a lot of credit, will never forget this for the rest of his life. Why? Imagine if you're a parent. This is a mother who has a child, also a sixth grader, that goes to this school where the shooting happened. But this problem is not going anywhere. And the argument I hear from a lot of MAGA Republicans who could care less about the safety of your children in schools. They care about remaining in power. And you say, Brian, where's your evidence of that? Well, think about all the money they get from the NRA over the years, and they brag about their A-plus ratings from the NRA. What have they really done about gun control? Idiots like Ted Cruz and J.D. Vance saying we need to make our schools stronger. We need to harden our schools. We need to lock. I'm not making this up. After the Uvalde, Texas shooting, Ted Cruz, after the Uvalde, Texas shooting, talked about how the back door should have been locked. That 18-year-old who shot up all those innocent children who had just shot his grandmother in the face, and Ted Cruz is talking about a back door that should have been locked, as if somebody with an AR-15 who's willing to take his own life, who just shot his grandmother in the face and wants to kill a bunch of innocent children, isn't going to shoot through a locked door. That's what these idiots on the right come up with, if they have any solutions at all. Or you'll hear more guns make us safer, which we know is not true, because per capita in this country, per 100 people, we have over 140 guns per 100 people. So if that was the case, we would be one of the safest, if not the safest country in the world when it comes to gun control. But that's not true. It's a lie. And they're imbeciles, and they hide behind the NRA, and they hide behind their right-wing talking points, and they say thoughts and prayers. Nancy Mace hasn't even tweeted about this, by the way. She's still tweeting about transgenders in women's bathrooms. And if they do tweet about it, they say thoughts and prayers. This should not be about politics or any of you morons out there. This should be about the American people. They're gunning down our kids in schools. We should be able to come together in some way and say, okay, we need to do something about this. But after the Sandy Hook shooting, I lost all faith in these Republicans. After the Sandy Hook shooting, when a bunch of 8 and 9-year-olds were killed, and Alex Jones was saying the parents were actors, Barack Obama tried to do everything he could. He tried to do everything he could to pass more gun legislation that I believe would help.